Bubs. Welcome to the Everyday Heroes podcast by Kofkin. It's wonderful to have you here.
Thank you, mate. Look, I was looking forward to this, to be honest with you. So I'm quite excited.
Oh, that's great. Well, you and I don't mind a chat with each other.
Correct. Not
We've
wrong.
had some fun conversations over time. Now, Bubs, the listeners would have heard the introduction. Those are people who don't know you. I don't know why, because you're pretty iconic.
You're too nice now. You've been generous.
No, you are. You're very well known, but I think it's I don't believe it's necessarily well known because of your venues that you own or the gyms you own or your family name or the entrepreneurial spirit that you've had. I think it's actually because everyone just saw their Bubs having a laugh.
You're not wrong there. I think everyone always knows when they see me, I'm always smiling.
Yeah.
I'm always trying to look at the lighter side of life, and you gotta this day and age.
Yep. Now, I did introduce you to a colleague and friend of mine. We were down having dinner at the George, one of your amazing establishments, who's Egyptian.
Yes.
And the first thing she said to you is, "Your name's not Bubs."
Very true, very true. And the moment she said that, I go, she's got a Middle Eastern background for sure.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Your name's not Bubs. What's your name?
No,
And she's very direct. as we know.
very direct. There was no shying away at all.
No.
And I said to her, my birth name's Mahmoud.
Yeah.
But from when I was born, I was such a big baby that my uncle called me Babur.
Yeah.
And then when we migrated here to Australia, I was only a couple of months old.
Yeah.
That went from Babur to Baba to Bubs, stuck.
Everyone just calls you
Everyone,
Bubs.
mum, dad, my grandparents, everyone just called me Bubs. And, I didn't mind it because I think it's a bit endearing. So
Yes, it is. So
it's quite good like that. And, we've been through so much through the landscape, that it's not as confronting as well. So once someone, they go to me, oh, that's what I call my wife, or that's what I call my kid. And I'm like, great, I'm already on the side of positive.
correct. It's so true. Now, you spoke about coming here when you're only a little young baboob.
Yep, absolutely.
But you want to give a bit of background to your family and the migration story, because your entire family is one of the normal great success stories of migration to Australia.
Thank you.
And it's, your family have a wonderful reputation and name. You've all done so much for the communities as well, but also too, though, you've got that entrepreneurial spirit in you, which is an Arabic and definitely Lebanese trait without any doubt. But it was also the same trait with the Italians and the Greeks and everyone else who migrated here in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, even the Vietnamese as well. In the late 70s, early 80s too. So do you want to give a bit of background of your family and the story of how the Fahours got to Australia?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, our story is one of many of, as you just said, a lot of immigrants that came to this country and, head down, bum up, and worked away to create something for them that they couldn't create in their own homeland.
Yeah.
So, I'm one of 8 children. So God bless my mum. My dad kept her busy.
Where are you?
I'm right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the middle child, so they always call me the black sheep of the family. We're 5 boys and 3 girls, and everyone in their own right has succeeded in the path that they've taken. I actually never knew my path, to be honest. Sort of sitting in the middle,
as most good entrepreneurs don't.
That is, you're right, absolutely true. And I came as a baby. I was only a few months old, but my 2 older brothers were, I think, probably around about 6 and 7 years old. So it's quite interesting because I've got 2 older brothers that are a year apart, 2 younger brothers that are a year apart, and I'm in between the sisters. So maybe that gave the softer side to me as well, which I'll claim, But yeah, so look, my dad was a business owner over in Lebanon, came here for obviously a better start in life and whatnot, brought my mum, and I was the last one to come down. The next 4 were all born in Australia, so we say they're a little bit different. And they were brought up differently. Parents, depending on the stage of their life with every child, is really a different upbringing. As much as we all say we were brought up by the same parents, it's not really the same way either. So which is really interesting. But my brother Ahmed, obviously he's well known around the circles, the ex-CEO of NAB and Citigroup,
He
and
was the youngest ever CEO
yes,
of
correct.
of a major bank.
Yeah, and Australia Post was the big one, and then Latitude, which is final one. But he really led the way for all of us. My dad always had that business entrepreneurial side to him because when he came to this country, he worked quite a few jobs to establish himself, and then did the 4 jobs all in the factories and whatnot, till he opened up the first Middle Eastern sweet shop in Lygon Street, Carlton. Uh, it was called Al Sham, which is Damascus,
Yeah.
because my dad's Syrian, and that was a very successful business. As a youngster, watching him in action, my dad was a very very friendly bloke, loved social life and everything. And I think unconsciously, without knowing, you watch how he operates and how my mum operated, doing all the sweets and, all that type of stuff. You learn, you pick up things unknowingly and actually use them later on in life. So, all my siblings have done very well in all their paths. And the youngest sister, even, she's a two-time MasterChef contestant and finished up runner-up in her first season as well. So she had a passion for cooking. So if I'm to say I had any flair in hospitality, it could have been obviously the entrepreneurial side from my dad, and then the cooking side from my mum and sister. Even though I've probably never been in a kitchen.
I know Lebanese households very well, and I've always had to undo my belt as I walked out of the house.
Absolutely.
In actual fact, they're offended if you don't have to. If you don't need a nap after lunch, you haven't eaten enough.
Yeah, you don't. There's no such thing as with Middle Eastern cooking, entrees and then mains. It's everything's on the table.
That's right.
Everything, and you stay and you eat till you roll over and roll yourself out. So, and if you don't finish it, you get in trouble. So
I know. My son's Tater, and she'll say, "Josh, you're too skinny." Yes, Tater, I'll put on 5 kilos, and she goes, "You got to put on more." So,
I love
why
it.
doesn't your father feed you? I haven't lived with Dad for 6 years. So,
No, I love it when non-Arabic people are saying Arabic words and saying them well. So you're saying "tata" very well. So
I've
good on
also
you.
learned a few swear words too.
Not surprising.
Usually, actually said to me.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, it's no the Tater and Jiddle, so Mad Carlton supporters,
Yeah.
as well. I did, poor Jiddle, Victor, lovely man, but he was, Josh was the first grandson in the family. And I remember him saying to me, Bubs, so Tony, I'm assuming he had 2 granddaughters at this stage, but it was, I'm assuming Josh, he can't back for Carlton. I said, Victor, he can back for any team he wants, but if it's not Essendon, he leaves home. So,
2 rivalries there, mate. Carlton and Essendon. That's a tough
and they're
one.
both as bad as each other.
My family, everyone had to be Carlton.
Oh, yeah.
No choice. Everyone had to be Carlton. But now,
And the grandchildren?
no, it's all changed. Even my siblings have changed teams over time. So,
Oh, okay.
one's Melbourne, one's Collingwood. My mum's North Melbourne. My mum's always been North Melbourne, which is really funny. So
Okay.
she's all about Wayne Carey, and he was forgiven. He was forgiven, surprisingly, from a Lebanese Muslim woman to forgive him for what he did. That's how much she loved the
Such a good
Kangaroos.
footballer.
Yeah.
I've turned a blind eye to his indiscretions.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So now let's talk about your journey into the world of entrepreneurism. So it's and actually you've got 4 hospitalities, restaurants and venues, and you currently got 4 gymnasiums, including one being built at the moment, which is a wellness centre, which we'll touch on
Yeah, correct.
in a moment. So you've got 2 focuses, hospitality and health, in a way, venues. Gyms. But you've got 8 separate businesses at the moment. How do you do it?
I get asked that question a lot. People actually say to me, how do you get all that information and stay on top of everything and still smiling at the end of the day? And I said to them, I don't.
I think the smiling part's in your DNA.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not good for my crow's feet, though. Getting a lot of wrinkles because
No, it's not age, it's happiness.
it's happiness. Correct. No, I like that. I think I'm going to start using that.
That's what I go with.
Yeah, you gotta. But I just think sometimes you're just built that way, and I tend to, and whether this is something that helps me a lot is that when I'm on something or someone asks me for something or I need to do it, I do it right there and then. So even if I was in the middle of doing something else, I will actually jump on that, or I'll give myself a note, or I'll need to finish it. I'm one of those people is I can't see anything in my inbox. It's got to be zero by the time I finish the day. If there's things that people are waiting for me, it's got to be done and finished that day, and that allows me to stay on top of everything. Don't get me wrong, it's bloody difficult sometimes. In my mind, there is so much sitting there, but one I was always in the corporate world before I went, into businesses for myself. And one of my great leaders, Greg Oliver, who's the fitness and lifestyle group CEO, he always said you just got to be able to decompartmentalize everything,
Yeah.
treat them on their own little silos and on their own little merits, and then you tick them off as you go along. And that's something that stuck with me for a long time. And then I never used being too busy or doing too much as an excuse, because then I look at my older brother, Ahmed, when, I think he was 35 when he was running NAB. And there would be so much he would have to look at. And he'd say to me, he'd be coming home with a file so big like this. And, he would memorize all those documents by the next day. I always looked at that and I go, I've got no excuses. And at the end of the day, it's all going to stick with me. So I just got to learn how to adapt, how to pivot, and how to stay on top of everything. So far, it's worked okay. It's worked okay. But there isn't a magic wand to it in how you do it. You just got to allow yourself to sit in that space, understand it, and tick off where you need to tick off.
One of Even before we knew each other, I was a regular down at the George, on Collins Street there. Love the food, love the set menu, don't have to think. Uh, been there, have to be 30 odd times. So it's actually one of the first times I've taken my team here, there. One of the first times I was there was actually a Super Bowl run by
Okay, yeah.
AmCham.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a Super Bowl day run by AmCham.
Yeah.
So when many Americans there, actually, I thought it would be very. I thought they would have made it very busier than they did. So it was, but I think so. One of the reasons I am a creature of habit, but I have to have had a good experience to go back. So you can go to a wonderful fine dining restaurant and the food was absolutely magnificent, but think, yeah, okay, I've ticked the box.
Yeah.
Besides having great food, which it's really hard not to get great food, in Melbourne, um, there's nothing really wanting me to go back. And, we won't mention the name, but Bella, I know her family very well. Um, when she got the job here, her mum took us out to a very, very well-known restaurant here in Melbourne. And all three of us walked out saying, that was so average.
Yeah.
The food was average. There was no ambience there. And it was an average experience for a very big bill. So it was just, and I haven't been back there since. It was the first time I'd been there. I hadn't been back since. And I do love my food and going out, much to the pain of my personal trainer who keeps telling me off. But basically, the George has this great food. You go there, it's wonderful, but it's the ambience. It's the way, I've spoken to you about a young guy I've been, I think 3 times in the last couple of weeks to your venue. A young guy who works there, Danny.
Yes.
And just how lovely he was and how engaging he was. Um, and that's the type of thing where it helps you come back. So the food is magnificent. Great. Box ticked. Prices are pretty reasonable
Yep.
for a fine dining, restaurant.
Absolutely.
So box ticked. Drinks menu, box ticked. So you can spend a lot, you can spend a little. Drinks aren't, cheap anywhere, box ticked. We've now run 2 functions there as well, one just last Saturday night as well. Once again, great experience, great night. How do you create that?
Yeah,
Because
it's
having a good chef and a great menu is fine. Uh, how do you create the rest of it that has Tony Kofkin continually wanting to come back and part with his money?
yeah, absolutely. You're right on the money there. When you're sitting up there with your gimlets and your masons, you're putting yourself up for criticism as well, because people are going to expect something amazing and special, and you have one piece of that puzzle not working well. they will berate you on reviews very quickly. So to stay, it's a very tense business to stay right up there. The one thing we wanted to do when Greg and I got together back when it used to be the long room,
Yes.
and then wanted to transition it into a restaurant because MasterChef actually made everyone a critic. It brought food back to life, and everyone wanted to, it made chefs super important before they were just cooks at the back, so it really changed the landscape, and especially in Melbourne. And the one thing we wanted to deliver was a one stop shop, somewhere where everyone could go. The atmosphere and the vibe is nice and it's groovy. Um, the foundational stuff like food is consistent, good portions, no one leaves hungry, right? And affordable
I
pricing.
know it's not Arabic or Lebanese food, but you still get full.
You still get full,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so if you get the foundations right, good cocktails, good drinks, um, good food, very clean and nice ambience of a venue, that's your foundation. Where can you actually step up? Okay, because anyone can come in, their palate's a bit off, they might not rate the food, or they might go, "Oh, this was amazing." You're going to get different reviews, but if we can keep it as consistent as possible, that's really important. The same with the drinks. But we always said, where is the bit that you can go another level? And we said, creating a personality for the business, personality and character. So every one of our staff member needs to greet everyone. All right. And if you don't know them, you find out their name and you make sure you repeat that name. And you create them like a friend. You build a relationship because we're based in the city. And we know over the last 5 years since COVID, not many people are working in the city anymore. So you can't sook and cry about it. You need to pivot. Those relationships that we built from so long ago, are what holds us in a good position because people will still come back and support us and they remember our own staff's names, which is great. Like, you just remember Danny's so easily because
Margaret was last
there
time.
you go. See, they
Mm.
made an impression
Yeah.
and they've created a bond.
Mm.
And that's what you want to go back to. You want to go somewhere where you know you're welcome. So for us, we're three owners in the business and we are there 3 to 4 times a week supporting the staff. Like you'll see me sometimes hosting at the front, right? And I enjoy that actually. I actually have a bit of a dance while I'm there, got good music going. And what I love about it is people are coming in happy. They're coming in for a good time. And we want to keep that and we want them to leave happy and have had a good time. So we have become, I call it the local in the city,
Yeah.
where everyone that's working there, people that are living there, you know what? The George is an institution. It's our local because they know who we are, they know what we like, and we're always going to get what we know we're coming for. So that's the key, making sure you're getting around your team.
Yeah.
Is that layer of you got a lot of casuals who come and go. You got your middle management, senior management. We really drive very strongly with all of them about the relationships.
What about Marvel? Now, Marvel, it's you got the restaurant down there. Marvel is, being a very sad Essendon supporter.
And Carlton.
Yeah, that's right. So it's going to Marvel. Um, but also to, let's say, for example, two big concerts there last year that I went to was Metallica and not Lenny Kravitz, as John Cain, Oasis.
Yep.
So why, if I'm going to see, we'll say Oasis, going to Oasis, why would I want the entire package at Marvel rather than just sitting out in my seat and having a hot dog? Because realistically, prices aren't that much different.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's the hot dogs aren't great so out there either. So why? How do you then create? I mean, you're there for an event. How do you then create that ambience? Say at Marvel, which will be a different experience because we're there not to experience the restaurant,
Correct.
but the restaurant's going to add to our overall experience.
Absolutely.
It's
Marvel, when that came about with the tender with the AFL, because they were doing the whole redevelopment with the government there. I think it was about a $500-600 million redevelopment. And they want to turn the precinct into a commercial precinct, not just a stadium. We went through that process. We were chosen one out of amongst 10. We took 3 venues. So we went big. And it's very different to the George on Collins in the sense of what you're delivering in the city versus what you're delivering in a stadium and a suburb, Docklands, that's had a lot of backlash. Nobody likes going there and it's had a lot of criticism. I personally am a fan of Docklands.
Yeah.
I think it's actually the easiest to get in and out of, and there's parking. And so I sometimes don't understand why it cops so many criticisms. But I get sometimes the infrastructure it wasn't the best, but it's been substantially improved, and now all the freeway connections are finished. It's great. Um, Marvel for us, the three venues we took, which was Amphora Melbourne upstairs, the Friends of Fire, which is a big sort of gastro pub, and the wine room. These three venues for us were very strategic for long term. We knew that Docklands was going to grow regardless. You look at population growth, it's next door to the city, it's surrounded by all the freeways in and out. We go, give that 5 to 10 years, it's going to be hot property. And having the AFL who owns the stadium in conjunction with the government, they're going to drive activity and activations, full stop. It's going to happen. Now, unfortunately for us, what hasn't helped is 3 interest rate hikes, a war, and cost of living's gone through the roof because of all this landscape, which is nothing we can control or anyone else can control. So it's probably delayed the success of Marvel and what they want to achieve a few more years. But we're in it for the long run anyway, for the long term. What we wanted to create was what you were touching on earlier about an experience. Get the VIP experience without the VIP cost.
Mm.
You could come. We are independent to Delaware that run all the F&B services at Marvel Stadium, so we can open and close on our own times. We have our own kitchens, so we make our own food and we provide the service delivery. So we sit on the outer skirt of Marvel Stadium near Gate 3. So you can enter even when there's not an event there. So we're open midweek. Our pub's open midweek for all the local corporates and people living there to come in, have a great feed and whatnot. And it's like for sporting fans, they love it because they're like in a stadium, right?
Yeah.
But when you look at the real benefits is that there could be a concert on. You may not even have a ticket to the concert. You can actually come and sit and dine at our venue, be part of the atmosphere and leave, right? If you have a ticket, you can come before the gates open. So you don't even need to walk through the gates. You come through our doors like a VIP, sit, eat, drink, and then we scan your ticket to take you to your seat.
You had me a VIP, by the way. I like being told what to do and being looked after.
Yeah, we all
Yeah.
like that VIP
We do.
experience. But it's making the whole experience so simple and affordable as well. So footy season, we package up tickets as well. So you can get for $199, you can get a level 2 premium seat. You come through our doors, you sit in Amphora, which is a beautiful room. You sit there, eat, drink, have your fun. We scan your ticket, take it to your premium seat, and you watch it.
Yeah.
So whether you have a ticket or whether you don't, there's something for everyone. And this is unique. No other stadium in Australia does that. So and then we've got
They do it in the US.
yeah.
The first time I ever had that
yeah.
experience was watching Pittsburgh Steelers and Cleveland Browns. And I just thought, what an experience.
Yeah, and that's what the AFL were trying to implement here, and the O2 Stadium in London as well.
Yeah.
So
I'm actually there next Sunday watching the Women's FA Cup final.
now you're making us jealous. So you're rubbing that one in now. Who do you support?
I'm a Manchester United fan.
I'm Liverpool.
Yes. No.
But Arsenal just won the championship.
Yeah, my sister was very happy. My dad's Tottenham.
About time.
Yeah, that's right. My dad was Tottenham. So he was lived in Hackney, there in the East End. But it's actually the experience. I know because we're part of the experience package. There's 20 of us there. We're part of the experience package and going along, and our seats are, I don't know, they call it the 50-meter line, but basically on the wing, from here to there, away from So that's an experience. The FA Cup was always on my bucket list to get the opportunity to go to the Women's FA Cup. It's just like, I'll take that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we're doing at Marvel. You look at all the concerts. We've got a lot of concerts coming up.
Massive ones coming
up. Yeah, we've got Harry Styles, we've got Robbie Williams, Guns N' Roses, Foo Fighters, and Jay Chow for the Chinese fans. He's is a C-pop big artist as
Okay.
well. So,
I got
that
taken to a K-pop concert a few weeks
how
ago in
did you
Sydney.
survive that?
Well, I just thought when somebody said, "Oh, can you get tickets to see Demon Hunters?" I thought, "Oh, that sounds like AC/DC." It's K-pop.
Oh god, no. Travis Scott was the craziest one.
Yeah, yeah.
Just seeing all these teenagers with no tops on and just, fighting each other and going crazy was just and then, I was standing because I took my sons with me, and I was standing in the stadium. The whole thing was shaking and vibrating just from all the jumping and moving by everyone. I was like, "This is crazy." But, Ed Sheeran was my favorite one.
Okay.
Yeah, Ed Sheeran was pretty cool. Our best revenue one, was Metallica.
Yeah.
Obviously, older demographic who know how to drink.
Drink well, don't and their drinking doesn't stop because it goes straight down the gullet because they don't have any teeth.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
That was a great actually, I must admit, it was probably theatrically one of the best concerts I went to last year was
Yeah.
Metallica. I only probably knew 5 of their songs because they played a lot of
Okay.
their newer stuff,
Okay.
but the experience was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the 4 of us that went there, we just loved it. Yeah,
Yeah.
2 of us came down from Sydney, and it was great experience.
This is the thing. This is why I say it's not like the George because we have different audiences depending on each different event. Even concerts, you can say concerts is one, but they're different audiences depending on who they're playing with. Is it Pitbull? Like when they put Pitbull or Mariah Carey, very different to Metallica, very
C-pop
different to
versus
Harry.
Metallica
See?
or Harry Styles.
Correct. So
Yeah.
it's a tough business, yeah, because consistency doesn't cut it
Yeah.
like the George.
Yep.
Personality and character doesn't cut it like the George. You got to take a really different lens on it, and it's an individual lens depending on what event is happening. So it's keeps us on our toes.
But that's a great segue to go to your other 50% of your business is called gyms.
Yeah.
And I want to touch on the wellness center as well. But I'll give you, so as you know, I've got a big gym set up in my garage. So for me, it's good because I'm lazy and I have no excuse that
Did you
way.
set that up during COVID?
No, no, set up after COVID. So
COVID after?
I
Okay.
bought a big, massive Smith machine
Yep.
in there, so there's like 64 different exercises.
That's good. You
Got a
have the
motor strength
pulleys as well.
treadmill. Yeah, got the pulleys, got absolutely everything set up
Yeah,
there
it's good.
in the garage. So I have zero excuse.
Yeah.
But it's but I did that because sometimes I was too tired to go after work, and so to the 24-hour fitness center and
Mhm.
things like that. So having it in the garage. The thing is, though, it cost me a lot more than what a membership would.
Yeah.
Okay, but for me, it was the convenience, and
Convenience.
actually having it there means I can't park my car in my garage. It's a double garage, and nothing fits in there. But it's so. But when I was up in Sydney over New Year's, I was taking to a gym there in North Sydney.
Mhm.
That was more like going to a nightclub.
Yeah.
There weren't too many people working out, but lots of people taking selfies, so it was there. So, and there was not a mirror there that I did not look unbelievable in. So I look at those
And
mirrors,
they got the lighting really well
oh,
to make the body look a bit better too.
I tell you what, that's when I should have taken a selfie. Everyone else was. I looked fantastic in that mirror. Then I called my reflection as I walked out. Thought, oh, there's me. I don't look quite as good. But that was completely different. That would seem to be, the music was pumping and stuff like that, and it seemed to be more people there on show rather than actually working out. But then you got the old, say, Doherty's,
Yeah.
or something like that, which is a sweatshop.
Yep.
You go there, you work hard, and you get out. Um, how do you once again then create that ambience in a gym that it's welcoming for males and females of all ages and have them going there? So we won't touch on the wellness center yet, but
Yep.
just in your normal traditional gyms, we'll call them. But how do you create that where it's welcoming it's not intimidating for females?
Mhm.
It's not intimidating for somebody who's feeling very body conscious and might, say, I'm too big to go to the gym. Maybe I should lose weight before I go there because I'll be embarrassed. How do you create that ambience and
Yeah,
that
I'll give you a bit of
acceptance,
background.
I
Yeah,
suppose, helping people accept themselves?
absolutely. Because obviously I was part of fitness lifestyle group for over 5 years.
Yeah.
I've been part of fitness and sports since I was 9 years old. I love sports and anything competitive. It's just the way we was brought up. But being in the space of the fitness centers, I mean, Fitness Lifestyle Group was the biggest in Australia, New Zealand, Southeast Asia. We were massive. So it owned, under the one umbrella, it owned Fitness First, it owned Good Life Health Clubs, Zap Fitness, Jets gyms as well. And then it also had Chris Hemsworth's Centre app. and a lot of digital as well. Because when the digital age sort of came in watching training routines, we jumped on that too. So a lot of learnings. When you go back to how you said you set up in the garage for convenience, the number one reason why people will join a gym is location. I can just get up and walk there. That's the first and only reason. After that,
Sure, my
then
staff members would go across the road here to Zap,
yep,
so because it was convenient for them.
convenient,
I'd
correct.
come in early in the morning, go to the gym in the morning, come back here, have a shower
Yep,
here, and yeah.
absolutely. And after that, it goes to training with a partner. Oh, both me and my friend, or me and my brother, or sister, whoever, we can train together. And then the third one comes to cost.
Huh.
Now, there is a gym for every type of audience. There are so many in Australia, so many, and a lot of the initially the 24/7 sort of cheaper ones where it's just gym only, no classes, no frills, no nothing. And then you've got your commercial gyms like Good Life and Fitness First. Fitness First once upon a time used to be the creme de la creme. Not anymore. It's back down to like a Good Life Health Club at the moment. So, but they run thousands and thousands of classes, really targeted for women, people who love doing classes. And then you've obviously got where St. Haven's come into it and taken it to a completely different level, but also a different mindset, right? So we always went to the gym because it was always about losing weight and getting strong. And that was through marketing. That's what was pushed and pushed and pushed. Post COVID now, it's all about holistic well-being, recovery, anti-aging, longevity. So when you were asking me that question about the gym audience, how do they choose a gym that suits them? It really comes down to there is only all the gyms in Australia fight for the same 20% of the population that go to gyms. Out of 100%, only 20% actually work out.
Is that right?
Correct. And all these brands are all fighting for that same 20%. So back in my day at Fitness Lifestyle Group, I actually did a partnership with Medibank and we created Gym Better. We wanted to attract the other 80% of the population who don't want to come in because they don't know how to work out. They're embarrassed. They don't feel like part of the cool people who are taking the selfies and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's a big population, yeah, and it's a big audience to actually try and capture. And we created Gym Better. We just jumped on an app and it was $5 casual visit if you were a Gym Better member through Medibank. And that went really, really well. So we started to capture a little bit of that other market. But, COVID hit, shut all the gyms down.
Yeah.
So I sat right in the middle of no hospital, no gym, going, what the fuck?
Absolutely. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a tough one, but to go back, there is something for everyone. You got your BFTs now. F45 was up there, but they sort of disappeared. But BFT, if you want that, small group training with an instructor, that's really good for you. If you love doing classes, you've got Fitness First or you've got Good Life. If you don't want to talk to anyone and you just want to go do your gym workout and leave, then you've got your Jets, you've got your Zaps, and you've got your Anytime Fitness and whatnot. But then if you're one who thinks about your health holistically, then you're looking at what I'm creating now through Vive Wellness,
Yep.
what Gurner has done through St. Haven
Mhm.
and the St. Chain and whatnot. So there are little boutique ones that are opening up and not offering the full service. They might do the bathhouse and recovery, but no gym. They might do the gym, they're focused on that, and then there's like a little spa and they're calling that a bathhouse. So it's a very interesting space, but this space is worth trillions and trillions of dollars because everyone's going to it.
Well, then, so I had not big in respect to being hungover or huge consumptions of alcohol, but I had a big few days over the weekend. So I had a 40-year reunion on the Friday night, school reunion. It's 40 years from leaving school. That's the saddest part of it. It's just like, I'm getting old.
when we say the number, then you go, ooh.
And some of my good friends there, they were looking even older. But then you have, then on the Saturday night, we had the function down to George. I had to pick up my sister at the airport. I had 3 hours sleep. Yeah, so once upon a time that was easy.
Yeah.
But I'm not 18 anymore.
Correct.
So it's and, and good food during
Mhm.
both of
Right,
those
yeah.
sessions. It wasn't just big drinking
Yeah.
sessions. There was good food involved as well. But I remember listening to Dave Chappelle, the comedian, and he swears on his IV drips. He does a
Yeah.
big show. Yeah, big show, and then, he could be in Vegas, they party all night, he has to do the big show the next day, so goes has a snooze, gets up, goes over his IV drip, full of energy, bang, next show,
Yeah.
done. So these are things where, once upon a time, you used to hear of an IV drip, it was because you had an operation,
Yeah,
so
correct.
yes, but longevity, this is my thought on it,
Mhm.
and please correct me if I'm wrong. Is that I think as we become more of an affluent society, no matter what the governments are trying to do to us, but if we
Mhm.
become more of an affluent society, the idea of living a longer life, but a healthy
Mhm.
life is really important.
Quality, yeah.
The quality of life, not the last 6 years of your life not being able to walk and on a
Mhm.
Zimmer frame. It's not at the age of 80 saying, "Oh God, my time's up." I've always said I'm going to 105.
Yep.
Now, I chose that number when I turned 50 because I refused to accept I was at the halfway point. And as of 7 years ago now, so nearly 7 years ago. But I think the idea of I've got a good life, and I want to hang around. I want to live a healthy life. I want to look after myself, etc. That's where I think what you've developed, and I'll get you to explain it a
Yeah.
lot more for our listeners, is exceptional because it's actually helping people with that quality of achieve that quality of life that they want to achieve.
Correct, correct, and it also stems from the fact of recovery. So what you'll notice on our Vive Wellness Club that we're building as we speak, and will open up in August, with no delays, fingers crossed, is we talk a lot about recovery. You know, LeBron James, when they speak to him, he spends millions of dollars on recovery. Right? All these top athletes who have survived years and years in the business that they are in the sport at such a high level, they put it all down to their recovery. So, we've been for a long time only spoke about, burn cardio so you lose weight, uh, build muscle through your weight, and that's gym. But now it's very different. It's about having rest periods. What are you doing in those rest periods? The type of food you're eating. The IV drips that you spoke about before, we will have IV drips as well at the Vive Wellness Club. I've been doing them for 2 years.
Mm.
And for 2 years, knock on wood,
That's why you only look 32.
I'll take that. I'll take that. I haven't been sick.
Yeah.
And if I do catch something, I'm over it within 24 hours.
Yeah.
So, I swear by them. I absolutely love them. And every now and again, I'll change up.
What's your frequency of having them?
Initially I started once every month
Mhm.
for 4 months, and now I do once a quarter. And I'll probably go another one when the season's changing. So I already had one.
Vitamin infused,
Yeah, all
depending
vitamin
on your blood
infused,
works, and yep,
magnesium, your B's and C's, zinc, and glutathione,
yep.
um, so I get all of those, and every now and again I might get an NAD plus as
Mhm.
well, just for a boost of energy, and it's absolutely great. And if I feel like I'm not having a great sleep and I'm restless, I'll go pop 2 magnesium tablets, and then I'm out cold. So for me, there is truth behind them. The bathhouse that we're building is a magnesium hot pool. So at the end of the day, you come from your shift, you go sit in that magnesium hot pool. We stuck to the traditional sauna. I didn't go red light therapy,
I love the traditional
infrared
sauna.
sauna. Sorry, yeah, I didn't go the infrared sauna, but I
Yeah,
love my traditional
I
sauna.
love a traditional
Yeah,
sauna.
and
Yeah,
both have different benefits.
yeah.
But for me, the more balanced one was a traditional sauna,
It's
and
my
then
it's my escape.
feeling that warmth is beautiful, and doing it without activities even better.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
And then we've done a cold pool as well. So, you can do the hot, cold, and whatnot. And then we've got a recovery area where you do the lymphatic drainage boots. You can do the red light therapy. I swear by red light therapy. I've got one at home, and before bed, 10 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week. I have the best
The full
sleep.
body or just a mask?
I've got the full body one,
Yeah.
and my skin is so much clearer, cleaner. My sleep's a lot better. So when I'm opening something, I want to have done it myself.
Yeah.
So I'm testament to it. And hence why I love it when people see me. It's not an ego or an ego. They go, you look good, you look fresh, you're happy. And it's because all the work that I'm doing before it to make sure that I can. And, we look at our parents, they riddle their body badly with physical work, you know.
Absolutely.
For us, it's a bit more mental than physical, but I think we're finding the balance, right? And technology and finding new ways of anti-aging, all that is helping us. So for me, young kids are drinking way less alcohol. Alcohol is on the decline globally, right? Um, they're
I
looking
find
at
more of them are smoking now or vaping.
vaping. Yeah, vaping is like I dread to see in 10 years' time what that's going to be doing to everybody. But they look at all these influencer models, social media, Instagram, and they want to be that. So they're investing a lot of money in it, even though they're vaping, they're investing money in going and doing a lot of these therapies and whatnot. And then people our age and older, where we're holding, as they say, probably most of the wealth in the country, we not only want to live longer, but we want to live better.
Better.
So we're
Exactly right.
investing in it as well.
Yeah.
And that's why for me, I've come from a space of health and wellness before even hospo. And I so believe in it and I want everyone to be doing it. So, even our price points, we've sort of halved what the other top elite ones are doing because we want it accessible and we haven't focused on areas that's just only where the affluent are. This
Yeah.
first one's over in Footscray,
Yeah.
at the new Footscray Hospital.
Our Footscray certainly gentrified from when we were young fellas.
Correct. So people are like, do you think this will work in Footscray? I'm like, absolutely it will. And they should have the chance to be able to have something in their local area as well. So I'm pretty pumped, as you can tell,
Yeah.
about it. It's exciting, but it's fucking a lot of hard work too.
Absolutely. It is. But I think though once again, from this basis, it's an experience, but an experience of people wanting to benefit themselves. There's no shortage of information
Mhm.
available nowadays. In other words, there's no excuse in respect to being able to, so, over the last year, my health journey has gone from, I was down to 90.1. I'm currently at 94, but it's I was 114 and
Yeah.
kilos, and I was 36% body fat.
Wow.
So and it's not injections. It's
Yeah.
actually just getting back and doing the hard work. But the first thing I had to do was get my mind right.
Yeah.
I'd made a
Absolutely.
lot of changes in my life. My mindset had to be right. If my mind wasn't right, I was just going to go back to my old habit of eating bad foods.
Correct.
And then I eat bad foods and I feel bad and guilty about myself. Uh, and so
And you're putting bad shit in you. Like
correct,
some of the shit that's in food these days is bloody scary.
100% correct. You know, you know, I, I changed a word in respect to an addiction. I used to say, I'm addicted to chocolate. No, I wasn't. I was addicted to sugar
Yeah.
because I didn't eat the 90% dark chocolate. I ate the milk chocolate, which is 90%
Yeah.
sugar. So, so I was actually addicted to sugar.
Mhm.
And that was if I was feeling stressed, that was my dopamine rush to stop off at the servo on the way home. And one of the things I actually had to do to break that habit, because it's like my car just automatically went in every night.
Yeah.
So I could be coming home from work at 10 o'clock at night. I don't do that anymore, thankfully. But, and I would go in there and I'd buy a chocolate bar, and then chocolate bar got bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
You know what I had to do to break the habit? Because it was a habit in the end.
Yeah.
I changed direction how I drove home.
Oh.
Took me about an extra 5 minutes.
Bypass the servo where you're getting the chocolate.
Bypassed my habit of driving in.
Yeah.
It was the 7-Eleven on the corner of Johnson and Nicholson. And it's just, so then I cut it down to I'd buy myself a bar of chocolate every time I filled up with petrol. And back then I had a V8. Now I've got a hybrid.
Yeah.
So I'll fill up petrol every 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's but you had to change the mindset
Yeah.
first. But everything you just spoken about, the zinc, the vitamin Bs, all of that. It's just these things are so important, but also understanding what you need rather than just
Correct.
taking
And
tablets.
touching on what you just said, when you have that sugar rush that you need, your body's actually depleted in something that it needs. Now,
Yeah.
unfortunately, we go to what's easy and convenient to just pop in there, which is processed and no good. Something we need to think about is probably just grab an apple.
Yeah.
would be better.
Yeah.
The fiber, and it's got the natural glucose in them. So it's just making the right choices, absolutely. But also say you got to have your fun, right? You got to enjoy yourself. Yeah, and I have this rule. I have
Yep.
this rule. It's
Yep.
the 80-20 rule.
Yep.
80 clean,
Yep.
20% whatever the fuck I want. Because I know I'm also working out 5 times a week. I'm doing my recoveries, and so I'm allowed that 20% of just things that I love to have. Like I just went to South Melbourne Market and had one of those hot gem donuts. I actually bought 6 of them. Me and my son shared them, 3 each.
Yeah, no, that might be a stop that my son and I have after the football.
Yeah,
A nice hot jam donut.
correct,
2,
correct.
maybe
You
3.
you need you need to live,
Yeah.
but, if you're 80% doing the right thing, then, you're on the right path.
Well, it was funny, we had a state of the company meeting this morning with all of our team, and, I spoke about there's some things that I have in my routines that are not negotiables. Tuesday night, date night, not negotiable. That's always gonna be on. I'm the one who has to organise it all.
I
Holidays.
got banned from doing that by my wife.
Okay.
I was
She
no
didn't
good
like
at it.
what you were choosing?
No.
"Oh, I've chosen the George again." So
Or Marvel restaurant.
yeah. So it's, well, actually, the other Tuesday night, not yeah, last Tuesday. No, Tuesday, we were just at a seafood restaurant. The night before, we went to the George,
Beautiful.
but the surprise was the opera afterwards.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah, so
It needs to be done. Like, you need
correct,
to build on your relationship as much as you build it on your health and build it on your
correct.
businesses and everything else.
Well, this is that mindset that we speak about as well. But we've also too. I found what worked for me was working out in the mornings. So I get up at
Yeah,
5.
I'm a morning person
Yeah,
too.
but
Yeah.
also too.
I don't get up at 5.
So it's,
I got hospice, so that's
yeah,
my
no,
excuse.
exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's a fair
My
excuse. So
workouts are more like 9 a.m.
yeah, okay. No, it's I get up at 5, I do my meditation, my breath work, and I go into the gym and I've got my program set for me. I have a personal trainer. I did have an 8-week period there where I wasn't hitting what I was meant to be hitting, including my macros and my food.
Yeah.
But during that 8-week period, I was moving house as well, and I had to go overseas, and there was a whole range of things that had to be done as well. So that was an excuse, but I still probably hit 70%.
Yeah.
I do aim for 80. So, make sure the hotels I booked had a gym. Just all those little things. And once again, because, this
And that's
conference.
a choice.
Well, that's right.
It's a choice.
We're going to London for work with the conference we're going to as well, though, but there's 20 of us that are going. Now, I know a few of the lads and they go hard,
Mhm.
for those 9 days, and they go very hard. I'll be out with them, but I'm not a drinker.
Yeah.
So I'm not hungover in the morning, so I'll still go to the gym,
Yeah.
and wherever we're getting bussed to, I'll snooze on the bus.
Yeah.
They're just constantly hungover,
Yeah.
so for those 9 days. But it's that how you look after yourself. But as you said, it doesn't stop me going out with them.
No.
It's just that I don't have a headache in the morning from being dehydrated from drinking copious amounts of
Absolutely.
alcohol.
Correct.
Yeah.
And, my lovely wife, Helen, she, about 3, 4 months ago, she said, "That's it, not drinking anymore. I'm done." And I'm like, "Okay." Then her habits
Mm.
has actually also slowed me down from it as
Yeah.
well at the same time. So
Yeah.
I'm hardly ever drinking anymore. But, it's just those things that we become so used to that if we're going to go out, we have to drink
Yeah.
or we have to go hard
Yeah.
or whatever. It's actually,
I still
I found,
dance for 3 hours without drinking.
yeah, that's the thing. That's what she said. She goes, "I don't need it."
Oh,
So,
give me a karaoke machine. I don't need
yeah,
a drink. I'm up there. Yeah.
yeah. And it might be the fact she's Latina, so they love dancing anyway.
True.
Me being Lebanese, we love being on the dance floor.
You have to be able to shake your hips.
Correct, correct. So, it's just you as your person. What are your non-negotiables? What are your priorities?
Yeah.
And for me, nothing gets in the way. If I can't prioritize my health and well-being, I'm no good to anybody.
I'm
Yeah.
100% the same. Yeah, when I got up to that weight, I mean, first of all, I had to get up to 112 kilos to swim the English Channel,
Yeah,
and then I kept putting on the weight.
that's crazy.
Yeah, so that was the crazy part of it.
Yeah.
It
So you
was
needed the fat to absorb that cold chill, huh?
so
Wow. I
it's,
could have lent you some.
I found heaps. So it's,
No.
but yeah, thankfully, I was 92 before I started that journey, and I've got to 90, but I had to put on muscle.
Yeah,
I was doing my weights were too light,
yeah,
so I wasn't I trimmed down perfectly,
yeah.
but Now, basically, I've put on 4 kilos of muscle, but I still want to lose another
And
6% of body fat.
and this
But
is
but you have to know what you're doing, and you have to have the
yes,
people coaching you.
correct.
You have to have a goal that
Yeah.
can be measured.
Absolutely, and I think that's the key in what you're saying. Sometimes it's not just about weight; it's about doing your DEXA scans or your Fit 3D scans to really understand your bone density,
Weekly.
your muscle mass, your fat mass.
I have the
Because you could
gym.
put on weight,
Yep.
right? But it's all muscle. It's
That's
okay.
right. I have my app for it. I have my
Mhm.
Hume. I do it weekly. When I first started this journey, when I really started hard, which was September last year, metabolic age of 57,
Yeah.
metabolic age today 42.
Look at that. Hey,
So it's body fat percentage 36 down
is
to
your wife on
19.4.
notice?
No, it's I'm just trying to keep up. So
No,
it's
absolutely,
yeah, so
absolutely. It's good.
I think and that's the key though is once again it's measurable and it's no different than what I do for work. If I'm investing $1 million for somebody, I'm being measured. I have to measure what we do compared to what the goals are and what the risk profile is, and I'm their coach in doing that. So as an example, if they want a high risk or private equity or part this, part that, we are always going to be compared and measured. So it's no different than when you have the personal goals, doing it for yourself too,
Yeah.
knowing what you're putting into your body, knowing the vitamins that you need that you might be deficient from, not have,
And
that you
and
can
rest is
diet.
good. Recovery is actually
Recovery
good.
is vitally important.
Yeah,
So, and that was one of my issues at first. I was so enthusiastic about doing it, starting to see the results, and
yeah.
you start to see because he makes me take photos every week, and
Mhm.
you start to see the photos and thinking that's really good.
Yeah.
Yes. When you're feeling crap about yourself, I just go back to my photo on the 8th of September. I think that's okay. I've done pretty well, but it's about everything being
Mhm.
measurable, and I think that's what in getting to know you really well and becoming friends. I think that's one of the things you've done in everything: your business, your family life, going to a concert with your
Yeah.
sons, getting jam donuts. um, but it's everything that you do in the gyms
Mhm.
and vibe, etc. Is everything you're doing is actually measurable, but you're creating an experience for people that they want and they want to continually come back to it. And even in respect to the wellness, we all want to live longer. We are living in an affluent society, no matter how much the government tries to take off us. But it's more that fact of that we are willing to spend money to actually have an experience that is healthy rather than once upon a time an experience on a Kentucky tour.
Yeah, 100%. And, for me, it all stems like you look at both industries that I'm in hospitality, and, the health and fitness. It's all about people, and I was always curious. I said this at one of my speaking events. I go, I remember being a kid sitting in my dad's Valiant. There's like so many of us, and I was right at the
Was it
back in the
golden
wagon
brown?
bit.
Was
It,
it a
it
golden
was a
brown Valiant?
caramel, like a
Yeah,
caramel
yeah,
off
yeah, yeah.
white type
Did it have
color.
the white vinyl top?
Yes,
Yep, I
yes,
know the one.
correct. And I'd be looking out the window and looking at every house that we drive by, and I just go, "How different is their life to mine? What are they doing? Is it the same?" So I was always curious at that very young age. And then when my brother Ahmed would take me under his wing and take me to meet his friends or go do his business meetings, and I'll just listen and learn about their stories and their journeys. So it's always been a curious thing of mine about people, who they are, what they achieved, what they didn't achieve, their battles and whatnot. And it hasn't stopped. And it's funny enough that it sort of led me into both these industries because it's all about people at the end of the day, and allowing them to enjoy what you're creating.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Bubs, a couple of rapid fire questions to
yeah.
end. It's been wonderful speaking with you and
Likewise.
and for our listeners to really get to know you as well. For those probably 3 people in Melbourne that don't know you. So but just a couple of rapid fire questions. First thing you do when you wake up?
I actually hug my wife.
Beautiful
Yeah,
answer. Beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful
It's the
answer.
first thing I do, even though she'll kick me away.
Um, your first go-to drink in the morning?
My piccolo.
Yep.
But I do have a glass of water before I have my piccolo. I make sure of that because sometimes it can be a bit acidic. So,
So,
piccolo is my favorite thing. Yeah.
yeah, so you have your water and then you have your caffeine.
Yep.
Yeah, have the shot of caffeine and then off to the gym.
That's it.
So,
It's a best pre-workout.
I agree.
Yeah.
Do you work out on an empty stomach or with food?
Empty.
Yep,
Always empty. Yeah.
yep.
Other than the piccolo that's in there, nothing else.
No,
Yeah. I
same
want
on
to
that too.
eat when my body's actually burning. The metabolism's working. It's always after a workout. So,
Yep, 100% correct.
mm.
So in relation to your football team, give me a year you predict Carlton will finally win a grand final. Okay, well, I'm 2029, so there you go.
We're going through a rebuild now again, I think, so we need a few more years.
You know, I don't mind if I have to push it out to 2030 and we just
Yeah.
do to you guys what we did in '93.
I reckon your mob's still a little bit further away, but I'll give
We are
you that
we
one.
are, but I grew up with the baby bombers and I saw them win premierships
True,
in the '80s and the
true, I'll give you that.
2000s. So in '93, of course,
Yeah.
we shouldn't have even made the finals, to put it bluntly, and we ended up winning the grand
Uh,
final with our baby bombers.
the only thing I like
Half
is
of
that
them were playing in the reserves the year before.
yeah,
Mercury, Mercedes,
it's
Hurd,
true.
they were on the
Yeah.
reserves.
Well, the one thing we can at least your team, my team, and now Collingwood, unfortunately, is that we all got the same premierships. So we've given everyone a long time to try and beat us, but we're still equal.
Yeah, but it's one of the things that I love is the fact that since the year 2000, no matter how bad Essendon have gone, we've still won more games than Carlton.
Next question.
That wasn't a question. I was just stating fact. I like to state fact, but I'm very big on statistics. Now,
Okay, I'll give you that.
if Carlton take over Essendon, you'll just I won't say a word. I'll just shut my mouth. Okay. Are you a reader or audiobooks listening or podcasts?
I actually like to hold it and read it. Yeah.
What's one of the best business books that you've read in your lifetime?
Um,
A couple that you've really stuck around that you enjoyed reading.
yeah, for me, I went through a period like I read one book, which was my year 12 book, George Orwell, 1984.
Yeah, those are mine too.
That was mine, and that was the only book I'd read until I hit the age of 45.
On another book I had to read in year 12 too, A Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich.
No, I don't
Just
know
it
that
was a
one.
book about one day of this guy in a Siberian war camp.
Uh,
God, it was boring, but I still remember it.
yeah, no, that was the only book, and then around 40, when I was 45, I read probably about 20 books in a year.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were from Pema Chodron. So she's not like a monk, a female monk or so, but it was all about life, and there's no such thing as perfect. There's no such thing. It's the stories we tell, right? Everything is an action, but every one of us has a different story on what actually occurred. And, the same thing with, there's no past, there's no future, there's only the present. And
Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now.
correct, yes. So I'm really big in that space about the universe, and the universe. You emit in energies, and you emit the right energy. Those things will come to you and be surrounded by you. So read heaps of books in that space, but since then I haven't read anything, and I find that I haven't specifically gone to business books at all. The reason why I start on all these universal books because you can take that in every aspect of your life.
Mm. It's there's when you talk about being the power now straight away I knew you were talking about Eckhart Tolle, great book,
Yeah.
one of my favorites. It's interesting that you talk about that mindset, the universe, what you put out and what you get. And I remember reading Tony Robbins' book, Awaken the Giant Within, which is like that thick and tiny little words. I didn't even need glasses and I should need glasses, a magnifying glass to read it, but magnificent book. But one of he tells a story in that book of two gents who grew up as children on the south side of Chicago. And they had a horrid upbringing. Mother was a prostitute. Dad was in and out of jail, a drug dealer in and out of jail. And these brothers were twins. And not identical twins, but still twins. And one of them ended up in jail, went down the same route as his father, and the other one ended up a doctor.
Yeah.
Now, he started in the hospital as a janitor, and then he ended up studying night school, studying to be a nurse. And then from there, he then went on and still saved his money, worked hard, ended up studying medicine, and at the age of like 40, ended up becoming a doctor.
Mm.
And Tony Robbins asked both of them the same question: how did you end up here?
Yeah.
The first brother said, well, what choice did I have? The other brother said, what choice did I have?
Yeah.
Different
Correct.
perception on
Yeah.
the same thing. So it's Bubs, thank you so much for coming in
Thank
today.
you, mate.
actually, no, I'm gonna ask you one last question.
Yeah.
Sorry, before I go there. Um, if you weren't in hospitality
Yeah.
and you weren't and you didn't own gyms, what do you think you'd be doing?
I actually believe, when I got into uni, I was majoring in politics, and I wanted to be a politician.
So did I.
Yeah.
So
I
I
thought
went
I could make a change,
Mm,
and I always believed in myself as a leader, as that someone people will follow. I
mm.
always had this thing. It was very easy for people to sort of come on my side. But then I quickly read back in my days, you go to the library and you get
Back in
those.
our days.
Yeah, how that's true. You go to the library and you put those film things in the thing, and it would tell you the advantages and disadvantages of certain job roles and whatnot. And it said can't hold a relationship. You have to be cagey. In other words, you can't be honest all the time. And I thought, and I looked at all this, and I go, nah,
Away
that's
from
not.
home 6 months a year.
Yeah,
So,
that's
yeah.
not for me. It's not for me. And then, then I just went into the corporate world from there. But I reckon I could have been a good politician.
Yeah, it's Peter Garrett. I love Midnight Oil, and he actually made a comment after he left politics.
Mhm.
He said, writing a song and singing about the injustices and changes was far easier than being a politician and trying to implement them.
Correct. And it's sad. It's sad, and
Because his heart was in the right place,
yeah,
obviously.
correct.
Whether you believed in his vision for the
Mhm.
country or not, the point is that you knew everything he was doing was from a
Yeah,
good place.
yeah, yeah.
So it's no, I hear you about politics. I've kind of been banned from it in here, but anyway, I still go okay. So it's
It's you got to have a conversation about it every time. Then I always say, and my brother taught me this: if I'm going to have debates or conversations, whether it's about religion, politics, taxes, or whatever, I only have it with intelligent people, because if they're not, don't even bother. It's not even worth a conversation.
absolutely
Yeah.
right. But also be flexible in thinking, because there's been if you're having a bit of a flexible mindset, which I know you do have
Mhm.
as well, is that in somebody having a conversation with you, if you're so steadfast on your viewpoint, sometimes a case of, that actually, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And
Be
you,
open to
yes,
listening.
absolutely.
Be open
Yeah,
to listening. It's a great skill to listen, and
absolutely.
it's okay not to know what you don't know. It's
Correct.
okay.
Yeah, to learn from people. And
Yeah.
sometimes just that, oh, I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
So as an example, a lot of people think, oh, I'm not too sure which side of politics. So, because say Social Security is an
Mhm.
example, I've always said I'm a believer in Social Security, but it's a safety net.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunately become a hammock.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what was good intent
Yeah.
has turned out bad.
Correct.
NDIS, good
I was
intent,
just
it's
about
turned
to
out
say,
bad. Yeah,
yes, yeah.
so there's all these, once again, great reasoning, great intent, turned out bad. Well, when I say turned out bad, abused.
Abuse,
Yeah,
correct.
so not by everyone,
There's
obviously.
always someone who'll find a way to abuse something.
Exactly right. Bubs, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. It's been wonderful having you here, and we'll look forward to the next function of dancing till 2 a.m. at your venues.
Absolutely, mate, and then we do the IV drips the next morning.
I look forward to that too.
Thank you very much, mate. You're a
Bubs,
gentleman, so thank you.
thank you, sir.
Cheers.
The Kofkin Bond podcast is a product from Kofkin Bond and Company, which we are an authorized representative of Count Financial. All information in this podcast is for education and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional, finance, legal, or tax advice. The hosts of the Kofkin Bond podcast are not aware of your personal financial circumstances. Before making any financial decision, you should read the product disclosure statement and, if necessary, consult a licensed financial professional. Do not take financial advice from the podcast. For more information, head to the disclaimer page on the Kofkin Bond website, or you can find resources on the ASIC website and find a registered financial professional near you. In the spirit of reconciliation, Kofkin Bond & Co. and the hosts of the Kofkin Bond podcast acknowledge the traditional custodians of the country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, and community. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people today.